As of mid-February in western Massachusetts, the winter of 2021-2022 has produced almost 2 feet less of snow than in the average season. We've had plenty of bitter cold, some freezing rain, and even liquid rain, but not much of the white stuff. Of course, March may bring a blizzard or two that will quickly even up the score, but right now we're looking at a lot of open ground here in Hadley. The crops in the high tunnels are not affected one way or the other, and in that protected environment the overwintered spinach in High Tunnel 1 is putting on strong growth. Garlic continues to grow in High Tunnel 2, even without the regular irrigation it might prefer, and in our coldest High Tunnel 3, there's nothing to show except the browning crop residues of the fall pole beans and the lettuce. Outside the tunnels, our stash of wood chips is beginning to grow and even show signs of breaking down, with wisps of steam revealing the respiration from countless unseen organisms that are hard at work on the core of the piles. But it is inside the heated propagation house that human activity can begin our season in earnest with the earliest plantings of seeds. Amelia begins by hydrating the potting soil. She likes to work that compost-based soil by hand to avoid oversaturating it with water and to break up any dry clumps. The moist aroma from her activity fills the warm air and hints at the life to come. Filling the trays by hand also helps to ensure a consistent fill. It is important to note that none of this work could begin without the most basic preparations, and considerable time was spent over the last few weeks fixing the propane heater, priming the irrigation well, and rearranging the potting benches. As the trays get filled, Ellen uses one filled tray as a form to lightly compress the potting soil into the individual tray cells. This will leave the potting soil at the correct planting depth for the beets, spinach, and green onions that are getting started today. Handling seeds can be exhilarating after a long winter break. The tiny embryos contained inside are held in stasis until all the right conditions are met for life to emerge. Light and heat and moisture all combine to break the dormancy that allows us to store the seeds from season to season. These precious gifts from a previous season's crop allow us to grow and eat again. Back outside, beginning at the far western end of the field too, we can see 3 rows of overwintered spinach that have survived our very open or snowless season with varying degrees of success. The Bloomsdale variety on the right still shows a lot of green leaves, while the 2 rows of Giant Winter look pretty well played out. It is certainly worth keeping them a while longer until we see whether some consistently warm spring weather will allow that variety to bounce back. The roots of those winter-battered plants may yet hold enough energy to produce a flush of sweet spring growth. The asparagus patch looks bare despite last year's heavy straw mulch on the beds and the cardboard wood chip mulch on the paths. The heavy black silage tarps were well secured enough last fall to remain in place over the winter. Recent research has shown that both the silage tarps and clear plastic solarization tarps do in fact cut down on the arthropod population of hard-skinned critters that help to break down plant residues. But those populations have also been shown to quickly rebound once the tarps are removed. Moving on up the field, the green winter rye cover crop shows off its legendary ability to grow anytime the temperatures crack into the 40s, and it stands in stark contrast with the uncovered areas of the field. Moving past the lower pollinator strip and another tarped area, we pass 3 beds mulched with shredded leaves. The summer kale is still standing up on stalky stilts, and the lower beetle bank, which in a normal snowy winter season would hold a drift of poor man's fertilizer on the downwind side. Passing more leaf-mulched beds and some scrappy-looking overwintered spinach, we come to the 3 beds that were sown thickly in Daikon Radish for a cover crop. These beds are benefiting from the brown wilted leaves for surface protection and also from the daikon taproots penetrating into the deeper soil zones. Those dead roots which are left to rot in undisturbed soil can provide substantial nutrition for this year's planting. After the grapes is a section of winter rye that was broadcast simultaneously last fall with daikon radish in order to increase the leaf and root diversity in the plot. Those grapes are ready for their late winter pruning, as are the fruit trees, blueberry bushes, and raspberry canes. We plan to hold off on any controlled burn in the upper pollinator patch, but will continue with a few careful mowings at different heights to encourage the lower growing flower varieties to prosper under the sometimes bullying presence of the perennial sunflowers. A quick peek at the farm brush pile and the farm composting operation brings us back to the prop house, where so many cycles of farm life begin and conclude. We are not done with winter yet by a long shot, but our growing season has already begun. Thanks for watching. Comments and questions are always welcomed and usually answered in a timely manner. Catch you next time.